Well, every father dreams of walking his daughter down the aisle.
But for one Corona Del Mar man, that dream seemed impossible. Or was it? CBS 2's Lisa Siegel has Augie's story, One Father's Wish.
His life is close to perfect as he could imagine. Beautiful kids, beautiful wife, and the founder of a fitness empire. Unexpected when you look at how he spent his childhood.
When I was young, I was actually overweight.
From a little boy who was overweight to a man who found his passion in exercise.
That was the thing that changed my life.
And turned it into one of the largest fitness companies in the world, Life Fitness. He had it all. And then everything changed. At the age of 47, Augie Nieto was diagnosed with ALS, or Lou Gehrig's disease. It leaves your mind intact and your body without power, first paralyzing, then taking away his ability to speak, eat, or breathe on his own. For the first time, the man who never gave up did.
I didn't want to be a burden. I tried to take my own life.
And that's where the real story begins. Because it didn't work.
How great that he failed.
He decided to fight. Augie is now going on 10 years with ALS. Most live 3 to 5. He uses his toes to operate a computer so the world can hear his voice.
When I wake up each morning, it's a gift and I want to make the most of every second I have.
His partner in this, his wife Lynn.
I love when Augie, he'll often type, "We're such a good team." At this point, 19 years into our marriage, I think we've both seen what it's like to live with unconditional love.
Unconditional love so deep that Lindsay, their youngest, never imagined she'd find the same thing.
I was just like, whoa, seeing what Lynn did for my dad and what my dad did for Lynn in their marriage. That's a high expectation to me as far as, you know, marriage goes. And then I met Chris.
So when Lindsay decided to say I do, she only cared about one thing. Her dad would be there to see it. But Augie had other plans.
I always knew I would walk her down the aisle, and when I was diagnosed with ALS, I couldn't think about that not happening.
So how would Augie fulfill that promise? He could barely move, hadn't stood in years. But he believed in miracles and hard work. And at Project Walk in Claremont, one day at a time, those tiny miracles happened.
When I saw him move his arm for the first time, I just started crying. It's just such a gift that we take for granted. So we were both crying.
Her eyes welled up with tears and so did mine. Something we never thought would be possible again was happening.
And as he got stronger, he had a home gym put in so he could work out more, harder.
All the way up, all the way up.
I envisioned Lindsay's beautiful smile and kept pushing.
3 days a week, 2.5 grueling hours of work, sometimes more.
Doing good, Augie.
It took months, arms, legs, presses.
Keep going, keep it tight.
But the date was set, and there was no turning back.
Would I be able to do it? I hoped that Lindsay would have her dream of her dad walking her down the aisle.
And so on a beautiful day this summer overlooking the ocean, dressed up, strapped in a harness, one vision in place.
I told her I loved her.
As Augie fulfilled that promise with the little girl he danced with as a child, now a grown woman.
I saw his face and he was crying, but he was smiling.
He looked in her eyes and did what most believed was impossible. He walked his daughter down the aisle.
That filled my heart. Each step that we took together was really meaningful. I went barefoot just so that I would be extra mindful of what we were doing together and walking together. And I remember everything.
It was just magical. You expect your dad to be there to walk you down the aisle, and he did.
Yes, fathers walk their daughters down the aisle every day, but maybe, just maybe, this gives a whole new meaning to a father's love.
Walking Lindsay down the aisle and being able to look her directly in the eye was a huge moment for me. Lindsay made me feel loved, and no matter what I did, it would be okay.
He's my dad.
Augie Nieto is not just a hero to his daughter, but to ALS patients all over the world. Since his diagnosis, he has raised more than $100 million to fund research to find a cure. You can learn more about Augie's quest at cbsla.com.